My time's expired. We'll turn to Senator Heinrich now.
Actually, Chairman, I know both of my down dais members have a meeting to get to, so I'm going to defer to them.
Great. Let's see. Who's got the more pressing? Roger that. We'll go to Senator Cortez Masto. Thank you.
Thank you.
Early bird rule. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, to the ranking member, and thank you to the panelists for being here. This is a great conversation. I'm from Nevada, and similar to Utah, most of our land is owned by the federal government, over 84%. Just about 63% is managed by the BLM. So I appreciate all of the conversation about how we have to find that balance and manage this public land for use, not only those individuals who live in the state, but those who want to come and engage in tourism and transportation, and then be stewards of federal land as well. Let me ask you this, and let me start with Mr. Kenna. I appreciated your comment about Congress needs to pay more attention to funding and staffing at the BLM level, because I couldn't agree more. What we have right now, I'm very concerned that the current administration has taken actions that will only exacerbate the BLM's backlog in resource planning. We have identified today that there are, 164 outdated, or actually 134 out of the 164 RMPs are outdated. And if we don't have the staff and we don't have the resources to even look at how we need to update, I am very concerned. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of the staffing levels and what role they play? And let me just touch on this. Every single one of us have worked with our local BLMs. We know who they are. They've been our states. They've worked, they live there. They have worked with the local jurisdictions. They understand better than anybody in Washington. And I will call out folks in Washington. Under both administrations, they're playing politics. And we need people driven from the ground up, I couldn't agree more, General Brown, that are focused on how we manage the land to the benefit of the people that live there and recreate there. But I am concerned about the staffing levels under this administration. How much more is that going to set us back in trying to address the issues we're talking about today?
Let me start by sort of taking the perspective of a field manager, the manager of an office at the ground level. And one of the things that it calls for in a plan or in a project is you've got to have access to an interdisciplinary staff. You need to have a wildlife biologist. You need to have an archaeologist. You need to have those specialists that have expertise that are unique. And that's a lot of the processes that are underneath that, like the SHPO process, State Historic Preservation process. They help manage that. They help bird dog all the details of what goes on. So I share your concern as I see some of these field offices are losing key bits of expertise. We've had times in my career in the BLM when, for example, there was a shortage of wildlife biologists. Mm-hmm. If you got to do Section 7 consultation under the Endangered Species Act, you got to have one. So if you don't have one in the office, you got to find one. It's not really a discretionary thing. You've got to have that expertise. So I think if I were to try to put a fine point on it, imagine that happening in every single field office. Yeah. As you lose people, and if you have a vacancy in a key position, what are you left to do? You're out there trying to cast around with your neighbor offices to see if you can find the right expertise in order to assemble what needs to be done. Yeah. So I think that's essentially the crux of it, is you've got to have that interdisciplinary mix, and there are some very specific pieces of expertise that are essential.
Yeah, I appreciate that. My time is running out, but let me touch on one other thing. Earlier this year, Congress took the unprecedented step in using the Congressional Review Act to reverse 3 separate resource management plans that were approved under the previous administration. That's the first time. And there's an legal argument to be made, whether they are actually rulemaking or not. But the question I have is, I'm concerned if a land use plan is now considered to be a regulation that Congress can overturn, how does this bode for other existing or future land use plans? I mean, again, isn't this, the concern we're all talking about is top down, right? Driven from Washington, dictating what happens, and we're still doing it. How is that going to impact any resource planning that you plan in the future, and then all of a sudden Congress can come along and use the CRA to overturn it? Wouldn't that frustrate the process moving forward? I'm going to just open that up to anyone.
Senator, I don't see how it can't help but undermine it. I think it's going to create a mess.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. I know my time's up.
Thank you, Senator Cortez Masto. Senator Barrasso would otherwise be next. He is graciously deferred to Senator King, who's got a time commitment elsewhere. Senator King, go ahead.
Thank you very much. One specific question, Attorney General Brown, timing. Are there any limits